Hiya, it's Laura and I'm here with the next installment in our short and sweet spreadsheet series, and today I'm going to be taking you through how to format numbers in Google Sheets. If you've ever used spreadsheets, I'm sure you've used numbers in them. They are one of the biggest things added to a spreadsheet, and they can come in loads of different formats. My understanding of numbers in Google Sheets is within the cell it contains the digits 0 to 9, and there can be loads of them, there can only be a few, and also it can contain some punctuation. So it can contain a full stop, a comma, a percentage sign, some sort of currency symbol, or a negative. There are a few exceptions to that, but they're special cases. One of the big things is that it doesn't include any letters normally, unless it's part of the currency. So what I'm going to do is take you through how to format these nicely. So as I said, you can have lots of different numbers combined. We can have negatives as well. As you can see, these numbers are quite long, so one of the things that's quite nice to do is to include commas. So we can do that by going to Format, Number, and then clicking on the number here. As you can see, the default formatting from Google Sheets is to include commas for the thousands, which I love because I find it really difficult to look at long numbers in these tiny cells and actually understand what the number is. But it also includes 2 decimal places, and what that means is after this full stop or decimal point here, there are 2 digits to the right hand side. I don't want this in this number, I just want it to be 9 million. So I can use these buttons here to help me. So this one would increase the number of decimal places, so you see as I press that it's added 2 more, but I actually want it to not have any, so I'm going to press this 4 times to get rid of all of them. And then what I can do is click on this cell again, and if I like the formatting in that one, I can click on this paint format, the little roller here, and then I can click on one cell and it's now in the same format. But what I can also do is click on it and then click on the column, and the whole column is now formatted the same, which is great, and that's really easy if you have a column full of numbers that you want to be exactly the same. Let's talk about decimal places now for a little bit. So what we can do is we can have the number 12.5, which because I formatted it, you see it's gone away. So again, I can just add the decimal places in. It's up to you how many decimal places you're going to include. Sometimes it's useful to include none if you're working with whole numbers. Sometimes it's better to include quite a few in the place of percentages. So let's say 12 divided by 100, which we know is 12% hopefully. We can click on this and then we can click on the percentage sign, and it automatically adds in 2 decimal places. So quite often you do want that when you're working out percentages, but for example, if we were looking at test scores, so I do a lot of teaching, so let's say we had a test that had 25 questions and the student got 15 right. You can see that whenever I turn this into a percentage, it says 60.00. So I don't actually need that. I want it to just be 60. So different use cases has different number of decimal places, and it's best to be consistent or to have a good use case for why you're choosing it. Now let's talk about currencies. So let's say I have £1.45p. I keep using 45 for some reason. If I click on this, it will add the pound sign. So let's just say I have £9, and because I'm in the UK and this is set to my currency, it will add 2 decimal places. Why it does this is because it is standard in pound sterling to use 2 decimal places. If we were to go back to this number format and we click down here on custom currency, you can see when you scroll down that different currencies have different decimal places. Here's 2 that have no decimal places. Here's one that has 3. So Google Sheets actually knows how many decimal places to use for different currencies, which is really useful because you don't want to be accidentally charging people too much or too less if you round to the wrong number of decimal places. And what else we can see in here is that there are a few more number formats that you can use. So we've got scientific, accounting, and financial, which I'm not going to cover in this one, and date and time are also counted as numbers, but I'm going to do a whole separate one on those. I hope that's been a really useful first look at how to format numbers in Google Sheets. I hope the tips and tricks have been helpful for you, and we will dive into this a little bit further in the next short and sweet spreadsheet session. Bye!